going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Wisershift Podcast. We are here, and I hope you guys are been keeping track with what we got going on. Multiple episodes coming, but this is episode number 2. So let's get into it. The first thing I want to say is a lot of us, we are naive to the fact that when intruder is casing your home and they want to do what they call a home invasion, and I hope nobody have to go through that nor experience that, because based on the report and what I have heard about home invasion and people just targeting your house, it's not a good idea nor a good experience. So today's episode is all about home defense. So if you have not give that a thought, and you have not even think about it, well, I hope this episode give you some insight on how to defend your home. Whether you are a veteran, active duty, or you are just a mere civilian, or you just a naive individual, don't know what's going on. Today's episode, I guarantee you, if you take notes and you consider what we're going to say and share with you, these recommendations and suggestion are a great place to start. And then you can build on top of that and hope that your home is secure. And that's the goal for this episode, is to give you some insight. All right. So the very first thing we want to cover about home defense is Schiff had some ideas. I'm going to let him share his first, and then we'll briefly talk about them, and then I'm going to share mine. Schiff, you ready? Let's get into it. What are your first 3 things that you definitely want to share with the people that will help them with home defense?
Well, home defense, I came up with 3 short topics. One of them is weapons of choice. My second would be areas of access in your home. And the third one would be levels of protection. I know the first one and the last one kind of sound the same, but trust me, they're not.
All right.
Definitely not.
So let's talk about them. On the first one, let's briefly talk about it.
My first one I have is weapons of choice. Weapon of choice. Well, first you must be legally capable of accessing the weapon. And what I mean by, you go out and you have to go purchase your weapon depending on where you're living legally, depending on which state, where we're at. We have the pleasure and the luxury of purchasing weapons with no restrictions. Some states doesn't give you those luxuries of purchasing weapons, because some states, they are just, put like this, they're just backwards in their understanding. And the law states that, everyone should have access or right granted to protect themselves. And that's one thing me and Wiser just agree on. You have to have a weapon of choice and being able to have access to these weapons. And when we're talking about weapons of choice, we're talking about what type of weapons would be suitable for you.
So, like you said in the beginning, it's true, because even if you're someone who's not in the States, you're in another country, we understand you don't have the constitutional rights, but that's a human right. Period. That doesn't have to take a piece of paper to inform you. But at the end of the day, weapon of choice, you have to give it thoughts. Whether you in a state here in America where it's restricted, or you're in a state like us, we're in the state of Florida, where we have basically almost the 2A as it was written, of course, with variable restriction based on a location or county, should I say, which may have some bylaws, should I say. But at the end of the day, we are experiencing how it was written, as most people say, as the forefathers saw it, how it ought to be. Whether you believe in the constitutional right to bear arm, just know that it is something that's needed regardless. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's a right for people to have, or I know we don't want to get into the political side of things, but we definitely have to cover that itself for those who are listening.
Well, I would say, would you want no arms to protect yourself?
I sure don't. I sure don't.
So it's kind of one of those things that goes hand in hand, that you need to protect yourself. If a dog comes up to you and he's trying to bite you and you see a stick nearby, are you going to get the stick to try to defend yourself, or are you just going to let him maul you?
Come on, that's a rhetorical question, indeed.
That's all I'm saying. And so when it comes down to weapons of choice, you know what I'm saying, you have many brands of weapons, and you could pick your brand and you could pick your choice of weapons, but there is a such thing as overkill and collateral damage, and that's one thing you definitely want to minimize.
Yes.
You want to minimize the collateral damage and the overkill, because the overkill at times can work against you if there's a pending court case.
Yes. Like I said earlier, we want to stay away from the political or advice given, because we're not lawyers. But one thing for sure is that we have to look at the option and choice. If you're going to select to go with a firearm, you have to make a decision. Is it going to be a caliber you're going to carry? If you're going to carry 45, 9mm, or it really doesn't matter. But at the end
40?
40 caliber. At the end of the day, you have to make the decision that works for you. One thing I always tell people, if you're going to partake or exercise your Second Amendment, I always say make sure you have the three brothers. You have a handgun, preferably in 9mm, chamber in 9mm. Number two, you have some sort of a rifle, whether it's chamber in 223 or 556 or 762. Those three are good, impacted, strong enough for home defense. And number three, some type of shotgun, pump action or semi-automatic. This is for all platform, handgun, rifle, and shotgun. I say with semi-automatic is best choice, but you have countless of option. But those three brothers, those trinities, I say make sure you have. And of course, you can explore
Trinity.
In this case, these firearms are Catholics or Trinitarians. But at the end of the day, make sure you have those three, at least two out of the three. If you're gonna have if you have a handgun or a shotgun or a rifle or a shotgun,
and you want to make sure that your caliber is universal.
That's very important, because we are a prepping podcast, and one thing you wanted to make sure is that if poop ever hit the fan, SHTF, you want to make sure that your chamber round is a round that's universal, that you can find anywhere if you have to look for it. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, make sure you select a choice of weapon. And what was the second thing you had on yours?
Areas of access.
Elaborate. What
areas of access basically is talking about the access to your weapons around your home, because you want to strategically place them in areas that, hey, what if you get caught in the kitchen when the intruder decides to invade your home, or what do you get caught in the bathroom? These are things that you need to think about, and not trying to be not trying to get into the paranormal. You know what I'm saying? Get paranoia. You just want to be prepared. And Chef, what about those people who live in California? Boy, look, I tell you what.
What about New York?
Man, hey, matter of fact, those areas, man, we encourage you guys over that way in those areas to prep even more, because the laws in your states are they're asinine, they're idiotic, they are off the wall, because it doesn't make any sense. And the premise of the premise of the laws in those states doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it don't. But let's get back to the topic again. Because I had to insert that joke in there, because it's sad.
You know, I'm going to rent quick now.
I know.
I'm going to rent. But anyways, the areas of access. Is it going to be a bedroom? Is it going to be a kitchen? Is it going to be the living room, dining room? The hallway. But we already know that you're going to have something in the bedroom. Okay, that's a given.
Yes.
But now, what about the rest of the areas of the home?
Yeah.
Like, do you want to have a little handgun, maybe somewhere in the kitchen, somewhere in the living room? You never know, because you always want to be. You always want to have access to something.
Yes.
You don't want to get caught with your pants down.
Yeah, you don't. Well, one of the things that I started exercising, I have a 1-year-old. So for those who have kids, we have to be cautious and educate our kid and be aware of where we are storing these firearms. Sure. And of course, number one thing is safety. And let's just put that on top of the list. Safety. You got to exercise safety. But the thing is that I say for access for me, now I'm starting to practice my everyday carry like religiously. I am getting ready for Father's Day we just celebrated. My wife gave me I told her I don't want no crazy gifts. I want some money, and that that money is investment for my appendix carry holster, because the setup that I have now, I'm only able to wear it when I'm going, outside, somewhere outside of home, whether I'm in church or I'm going to doing an errand run. It doesn't matter, or I'm just going to the gas station. That is comfortable for that. But right now, where I'm investing in a new platform set up for me, so if I'm in the house, if I'm wearing boxers or sweats, that set up by I'm gonna plug them in, even though they're not sponsoring this sponsoring this episode. It's called Alias. Check them out, Alias. They have great mount for your belt, and if we go to church, they have a setup where you can tuck in your dress shirt, and you can have casual wear, and you would never know that you carrying. So that's something that I'm doing right now. So in reference to ease of access around the house, I say, you got to exercise your everyday carry. Don't make it a trend like you see on YouTube, people just doing these EDCs, but really not carrying it. Your home is something that you must carry into your home.
That's true, but you also have to remember your modifications, whatever modifications you have on your weapon too, because that plays a big role too.
Yeah.
You don't want to have too many modifications, and you're trying to do an everyday carry.
Yeah,
that gets now you're getting difficult. There, you're getting difficult because.
But the thing is, those are individuals who doesn't have common sense, like concealed carry, because you have people, what I like to call them, they have Gucci guns, the Gucci Glocks, full of bell and whistle, and you wonder they have it MOS. Cut out, they have laser, and they have flashlight, they have all kind of things. They change the inside, like the trigger is all different, it's not factory. For me, they have
too much time on hand.
Exactly, I just add on what's needed. For me, the only thing I have on my firearm is the light.
Well, I can honestly tell you about the firearm. If you go through all the firearms you need to, you will find the one that you like. Trust me.
Yeah.
There's some firearms, they shoot like butter.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, I was at the range the other day, man, and my brother and them, man, they had some both of their handguns was smooth. Even the Draco 9, the Draco chambered in 9mm. Oh man, smooth.
Here's my thing. Well, let me share this with the listeners. We both carry Taurus, and most people would think that we are Glock a fanboy, but we're not. Taurus are a reliable gun, and guess what? They are budget friendly and they are reliable.
See, the secret about Taurus people don't know is most people use them. They're competition guns. Super accurate.
Yeah.
Super easy, accessible, and easy to break down.
Yeah.
Super, and that's the thing that people don't understand about the Taurus.
I have nothing against Smith & Wesson's Glock, which is the number one most carried gun. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And what else?
You got Glock, Smith & Wesson, and
what's the third one?
You got Beretta.
We had Berettas, 1911s. They have some of them that people like to carry, the old school, I like to call the OGs. But like for me, my thinking behind concealed carry and the ease of access for everyday carry is making sure when I'm around the house or if I'm running an errand to anywhere, or if I'm going to a facility, as long as not government or government facility, which we can't carry inside, or a certain facility like a court or a school, those things which I like to call soft targets because it doesn't make sense to me. But we're not gonna get into that.
Yeah, I mean, if you got to be paranoid to have a weapon, there's something wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? You need to move. You need to move to somewhere that you feel safer.
There's no such place.
Yeah, correct. What I mean,
as long as there's human.
What I mean by safe, I mean like a little bit less anxiety.
Here's my thing. Having ease of access to your firearm or your form of protection is important because, like you said it earlier, you don't want to get caught with your pants down, and even going to the bathroom or taking a shower, you have to plan and account for all that. But most people don't, and I hear you using the word paranoia. It's not paranoia for me. For me, is being prepared at all time.
Well, I can honestly tell you, I'm always on my P's and Q's.
Okay,
so you can and you see me sometimes. I walk around with my whole case.
Yeah,
I got my whole case in hand. Guess what? I'm not really worried, but guess what? If once I see you coming, oh man, I'm right back at you. I'm right. Guess what? You're gonna see a green light on you, and I'm gonna green light you.
See, the people don't know about this about you. You as a veteran, you've seen a few tours, and you've been in actual war, and so your mindset is different versus me as a civilian. I have to be at a level orange. For those who are listening and don't know, there's 3 levels. Well, depending on who you ask, but the foundation is 3 levels. You have condition green, condition orange, and condition red. And those 3 levels are levels you have to consider and ask yourself, what condition am I in? Green for me is when you sleep. Yeah. You have no idea what's going on. You at peace.
You need it.
You know what I'm saying? You at rest. You know what I'm saying? But and also people who are naive, who are not even thinking about these, they're in condition green at all time. But for me, the comfortable place or the reasonable level is being at condition orange. That means that you are aware of your surrounding, but you're not completely being paranoid about, at every movement that someone make or a pin drop, you already, what I'm saying, aiming. I mean, that's good readiness, but at the end of the day, a good level or condition to be in condition orange. But condition red is when you hear gunshot and you hear explosion and you hear fighting and you see someone getting stabbed. That's you have to be on red alert.
That sounds like California to me.
Hey, we joke about it, but it's these 2 states, California and New York, are.
Don't forget about Illinois now.
Yeah, and Chicago. And what's the common denominator? We are independents, but
they're all liberals.
They're, you know what I'm saying? We're here on this podcast. We are independents because we serve the Most High God, Jesus Christ, or Yeshua, Yahweh, Yehovah, however you call him, whatever you call him. But at the end of the day, we serve in a living God and we believe in God. So that's who we vote for and that's who we back. But at the end of the day, if you're a Republican or a Democrat, or like us, independent, who has no side, or you just look at which side deliver the best option for you in your state or condition, you vote for it or you go for it. But at the end of the day, we have to look at how people are, divided with these form of tactics. But going back to the main, what's the third one you had on your list?
My third topic is levels of protection.
Okay, let's talk about it.
And levels of protection. I got a couple of them on here. Some people don't believe in protection, so they thinking a broom might work. They thinking a screen might work.
There you go.
Some of them say, I'm gonna just go in the kitchen and grab a knife.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Some people say, I got my bat right here. And other ones say, hey, I got a machete.
Hey, whatever works.
But there's different levels of protection. But I can honestly tell you that that the first couple of ones that I mentioned might not get you too far unless you're trying to do some hand-to-hand combat. It might not get you too far. You have to choose whether you're going to use a handgun, whether you're going to use an SMG, which is a submachine gun, a shotgun, or a assault rifle. And all of those have their different levels of protection. And what I mean by that is because a shotgun, man, you have to watch it. It's going to do collateral damage.
Yeah.
Especially at close range. I mean, if you want blood everywhere, okay, use a shotgun. Handgun, may depending on what it is, if it's a subcompact or it's just a regular handgun,
full size.
Depending on what you're shooting, what caliber you're shooting, you know what I'm saying? It's them two I would really recommend, because how often are you going to really grab a rifle or a submachine gun too? Submachine gun is really easily accessible. But a rifle, what I would say is, unless you knew you got ninjas on top of the roof, you trying to knock down some scunions, I would say then you grab your rifle. But I would definitely say a handgun, shotgun, or SMG. And the reason why I include shotgun, because sometimes shotgun, once they hear that loud noise, it makes everything skedaddle.
Yeah. Like, here's my thoughts on this. For me, is being ready, and you will never be ready at all time. But the thing is that if you practice being in condition once, you can see the threat coming. You don't get to select when trouble come, but if you are ready for it, you have a higher chance of survival. Now, for those who don't believe in carrying or owning or exercising the 2A amendment, here's my thoughts for you. Make sure that you're learning how to defend yourself by hand-to-hand combat. Because if you get caught by surprise and let's just say you have to disarm someone because they have a knife or whatever the case might be, but you have to make sure that you have some sort of level of hand-to-hand combat.
We forgot about one. Talk about firearm training.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about for those who don't believe in that, and it's tough for us to give you suggestions. Listen, we jokes about these things, but the level of reality is true. Here's the best thing. One of my favorite YouTuber, Colion Narad, he made this point, right? He said, for all these Democrat or liberal individuals or those who part of that party line, they want to take our guns away or easily chip away the Second Amendment by introducing restrictions and regulating it to a degree where it pretty much is none effect in a way. I say this to those individuals: why do they have level of security with gun? And when those, let's just say they're not a political figure, why regular civilian, if you don't believe of carrying a firearm or owning a firearm, why do you call someone, which is a police, right, with guns? So at the end of the day of this conversation, gun will be involved.
Yeah, that's true.
Whether you want to either own it or use it, at the end of the day, the guns will be in your surrounding when there is trouble. First responders carry guns sometimes. A lot of SWAT. So you name it, they have it. So the number one tool that can definitely help you in modern time is besides God, besides God is a gun. Like Isaac Newton's second law. Second law. I don't remember which one was it, but it states that for every action there's an equal but opposite reaction. So if someone is coming at you with a gun, what is the equal force?
Another gun.
Exactly, another gun. So at the end of the day, people don't understand that thought. So if you're someone who choose to not, this is not a promotion for you to get a gun. This is just a suggestion that you should. So the level of protection is important, but you have to make sure whatever you select, whatever tool you go with, make sure you are trained enough, like you saying, Shift, make sure that you have the training so you're able to protect yourself. Anything you want to add to that?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. It's just pretty much you just have to choose your weapon of chaos, as I would say.
In the midst.
But other than that, I would say everything else is clean on my slate. What 3 do you have?
Well, the 3 I have is hardening your home, safe zone or safe house. Number 3, escape plan or escape route, which is the same.
All those are needed, very needed. Okay.
Yeah. So the first one, let's talk about it. Harden your home, and you probably heard of this before. And if you're new to that idea, all that simply mean is that whether you live in an apartment or you have your own house, whatever your dwelling is, make sure that it is hardened. Hardening is, for example, if you move into a new apartment, when you change the lock, make sure instead of using the half-inch nails, or not nails, screws that the lock unit comes with, use like 2-inch screws that goes deep into the frame of the door. So that way, if someone trying to kick in your door, guess what? That 3-inch or 2-inch screw is deep enough. Well, it'll buy you enough time to respond and to do what you need to do. Another thing too, having proper lighting with sensor. When someone get close to your home, the light turn on. That's hardening your home because it will deter. Because thieves and home invaders, they like to operate in what time of the day? Nighttime.
Cover of darkness.
Yeah, they like to operate at nighttime. So if you have proper lighting, that's important. Another thing too, part of hardening your home is if you live in the house, having a gate that would reduce the amount of time the person get to your front door.
Correct.
Another thing too, having thorn bushes around your window, grow thorn bushes around your window, because it's going to be tough for them to go through their bushes with thorn to open your window. You know what I'm saying? What are your thoughts on hardening your home? What some ideas you want to share with the listeners?
You got that. You got cameras. You got animals.
Yes, those are great.
Cameras because just in case you need to run. Just in case you need to run back the footage, you can see which way they come from. You can see what they was dressed in, what kind of vehicles they was in.
That's for the aftermath.
Correct. And because let's say they attempted and they didn't get success.
Yeah.
So now you can review and see. All right. Well, how can I prevent this from happening again?
How can you harden your home even more?
Correct. And then also, an animal is always good.
They are first line of alert.
A dog, man, and some people just like to have one, but if you have multiple dogs, it's even better.
Yeah, and
it all depends on your financial situation because everybody can't afford 3 dogs.
Yeah, I agree.
I would say at least have 2 if you could, because 2 is better than 1. Yes. 2 is always better than 1. And man, I tell you what, a quick short story here, man. My cousin, man, he at his place of work, at his yard, he got 2 canines over there, and I tell you what. He when he play fetch with him, he'll throw the shoe or whatever it is on top of some of the items that he have in his yard, and the canine was go and climb on top of it. Oh man, I'm telling you, it blows my mind.
They're earning their keeps.
Oh man, it blows my mind.
That's good.
That one thing, and that basically I said that to say this, that those dogs, man, they will go whenever and wherever just to protect what's theirs. So
what's the saying? Dogs are men
best friend.
Indeed, they are, because they are loyal, man. They are very loyal, and if you are someone who's able to keep and maintain a dog, please take care of these dogs, because that's a level of protection for your home too. And when they bark, when people come to your house, I'll say don't stop them. Just so they know that when people come, they shouldn't just stop barking, because you know what I'm saying, they should be able to, because a lot of people when they train their dogs, they when people come to their home, they'll tell them stop barking. Like, really? The stranger in your home, you want them to bark and alert you. But yeah, harden your home is important, because anything that's going to buy you time to respond is a form of harden your home. Another idea that I can definitely help is sometime play the opposition. Reason I say this is because if put yourself as a thief or a robber or whatever, right? An intruder. How would you? Here's what I want you to do. Whenever you get the chance, in daylight or nighttime, tell your spouse or your family, say, "Hey, I'm going to pretend that I'm an intruder. I'm going to try to come into the home," and you will see the potential where you can level up on hardening your home. Pretend that there's $1 million in the house and you're trying to get in there. You got to think about how to get in that house. Now, in your own home, if you able to spot certain weakness, number one, you know your home. And if you don't want to do that, I think a better option is get a friend and say, "Hey, if you were to break into this house, how would you do it?" You know what I'm saying? And have them, run through that course, because the first one is just to help you identify things that you already have knowledge of your own home. So you can case your own home and say, okay, if I go through there, okay, that might work because I know that window, there's a problem with the latch. I can get through that window, because that's knowledge that you already know. But when you have someone like a friend or somebody who don't know your home like that, or a stranger, and have them trying to come in, it's pretty much test and see how hard your home is. If it's not hard enough, someone can identify certain weaknesses. You got to go in and check that. What are your thoughts on that?
But you got to remember, some people don't know how to be thieves or crooks. So that's a give or take scenario. That's a good idea.
Or you can get somebody who's actually our security.
That's true. But you always want to go. You always want to go. You always want to have want to go through your levels of protection for your home. Like, what do you have around the house that's suitable to protect you, just in case. These things happen. They just happen. And you know what? We're here in Florida, so when hurricane season hit, and if it hit your area, guess what? 9 times out of 10, you got crooks want to walk around and loot your home. So
yeah,
I was just saying.
Number two, I think this is something that everybody should consider and really look into. Safe zone or safe house. In your house, you should definitely have a safe zone or a safe house, because if someone break in and for example, my thinking is that if someone break into my home, if my family have time to move within the house to get to a safe location, that's important. You know what I'm saying? Because what you want to do is to have your family in a safe zone or a safe house, because when the fight start, you don't want nobody, nobody to be in the way. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, it goes well with the third tip, which is a plan of escape. You got to make sure if you have like 4 or 5 people come into your home, best thing you can do is hide or fight.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen. I done seen many videos on that. I done seen plenty of videos on that. I done seen plenty of videos on that. Plenty of videos.
Yeah, and the thing too is that if you able to escape or run away, that's your best option. Let them take whatever they need to take, do whatever they need to do, because those things can be replaced. But your life, that's it. Once you lose it, that's it. You know what I'm saying? So I say those 3 things, or what I would say, which is harden your home, making it impenetrable, making it hard to get into. First, I say make your home hard to get into, which is harden your home. Number 2, having a safe zone, a safe house. Number 3, escape plan or escape route, because the third one is very important, because you want to make sure, okay, if we hear intruder in your home, you got to be able to know, like, communicate with your family. Okay, if something happened, this is what you guys need to do. So that way, if you have to shoot at anybody who's coming into your home and there's a firefight, you do not want your family to be, at harm because, let's just say little Timmy hear firearms on fire shot, just gunshot, and he want to open the door and come out the room, or he's not behind something, not taking cover behind something where if a round goes through that door or through that drywall, it doesn't hit, your family member. Those are the things you got to think about. If there's an intruder or a break-in, your family need to have a plan and know what they need to do to protect themselves. That's it. Any final thoughts you want to share about this topic before you wrap it up?
I would just say home defense is just as important of anything else you would do. Your home is where you sleep, you lay, you eat, you have your peace. So I would say protect your home just like you protect yourself, and just be safe out there. Just make sure you get your weapons of choice. Make sure you have your areas of access and your levels of protection.
Awesome. Well, let's wrap it up. I'll say this. Make sure that you are ready at all time. Please remember your level of condition. Orange is the best condition to be in. Red is to be in alert when you hear something take place. And condition green, you should be in condition green only when you're in your home and everything is secure, but you never know. I'll say this. It's better to face 12 than to ride with 6. Simply mean I'd rather face 12 peer and be judged on that than to be carried by 6. I'm a bearer and being buried 6 feet under. But at the end of the day, it's important to consider hardening your home and considering making sure that you have a plan of escape and make sure that you have a safe house, and those are the great things to consider. Today's episode of Home Defense is just the foundation, surface level ideas and recommendations and to consider about. And if those things have not come to mind, we hope that we were able to provide you with, a good place to start. And we'll visit this topic in a later date or later episode. But this first episode on this particular topic, we just want to introduce it and get your mind thinking about it. And we hope that we help some way, somehow. And thank you for listening to this podcast. Please, wherever you're listening to this podcast, please go give us a rating, or if you're able to comment. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, subscribe for more episodes. Wherever you get your podcast, just try to support us some way, somehow. We appreciate you listening. We appreciate your time. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you. I see you, and hopefully you come back and listen to another episode. All right, we out of here.